guys, what's up? This is Jarrell with Quantum Light Consciousness. Today we're going to talk about how you decided to become a participant in the third dimension here on the planet Earth. So, alright, so this is kind of a touchy subject. Honestly, just for all those starseeds out there, you kind of feel like homesick. Sometimes you kind of feel like, the world is kind of like not a friendly place for your soul. Like, you get out into the world and you start making your way in your life and you feel like it's just kind of soul-sucking, draining, and you get the feeling that a lot of stuff has gone wrong and a lot of people just kind of turn their eye away from it, and not many things that are beneficial to the collective soul of humanity are paid attention to and addressed and actually fulfilled in the societal systems today. So what I wanted to talk about was how you chose this, okay? So every time I used to hear, well, you signed up for this is your incarnation, you chose to be here, get on it, do it now. Like a lot of people, star seeds out there, light workers out there, empaths out there, if you're into spiritual content, you've heard a spiritual teacher say this to you. Alright, and every time I used to hear this, I'd be like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, I don't remember being dropped down in this density. It feels like I'm walking around in the darkness. It feels like I'm walking around and everybody's got their head up their ass, like literally, energetically, and nobody can feel anything that everybody else is feeling. Alright, and it is painful. Alright, you walk around totally empathic and you can feel other people's stuff, and you, being the person that you are, you continue to live your life the best you can, and you make your way through it. So nobody actually told the physical vessel that they were going to incarnate and have to deal with the financial slave system, deal with food being poisoned, deal with air being poisoned, deal with the medicine being poisoned, deal with every tech device on the planet throwing a hypnotic trance on every single person who uses it. Like, nobody had told the physical person who was born that they were going to have to deal with this stuff. Like, literally, that's like saying, well, mom and dad, like, you guys didn't tell me I'm going to have to deal with this shit, like, when you guys decided to have me as a human. Like, when you're born as a kid, you do not choose your parents. You do not choose to be born. You're just born. And the same thing goes up the ladder, up the chain of your soul stream. Alright, your higher self incarnated you as an aspect of them because they wanted in. They wanted in and they wanted the experience. They wanted you to decide for yourself to wake up for yourself as themselves at the same time. So they kind of reserve that right to have a kid, and even though that kid is self-aware and that kid's gonna have to deal with a lot of shit, like, they're going to put their place in the game of evolution to make themselves greater. Like, you can either choose to be like a higher version of yourself or die and reincarnate over and over and over and over again. Like, during the period that I kept like continuing to climb out of the depths of illusion, I will go deep into meditation, and then I'll raise my frequency and I'll call my spirit guide Archangel Metatron. It's like, Metatron, like, why? Like what's going on? Like, with this incarnation wheel, like, how is this possible? And what he told me was, you've woken up after a period of thousands to thousands of lifetimes reoccurring between the life and death reincarnation matrix. And after these lifetimes, you can choose to move out of it or continue going through it. Okay? So that is literally how a human being chooses to either be their higher selves or continue to stay in the third dimension. Now, as you're in the third dimension, there are still things that you still do have to process. Like, say you got it down. Say you understand your higher self had you like a kid, and now you're responsible for everything that you have going on in your life. You still have to deal with the feelings and emotions that come along with being dropped off in a strange place and you have to defend for yourself. Like, literally, those are real emotions that any type of red-blooded person would have to process for themselves. So to totally understand why your higher self would incarnate you as a physical vessel here on planet Earth, what you can do is look at your higher self as a very, very wealthy person. Say your higher self was like a billionaire, and he's sitting up in an office, up in his dimension, and they're looking down at their family, who they've passed their inheritance onto, aka the Earth and all of the Earth's resources, as a regulatory, self-sustaining biosphere with infinite abundance and infinite resources within itself. They look back down at our sphere of reality, and they see their kids fighting over little scraps that one portion of the kids has accumulated massive amounts of hordes of resources and created all types of imaginary scarcity to hold over the other group of kids who are poor, starving, dying, and working for the rest of their lives. So one group can be way up higher in power over the other, which is like totally down and, just kind of on their knees collectively. And your higher self is sitting here looking at the game like, you guys better get it. I don't know what this is. Like, when I left, like, this is all good. Like, you guys are brothers and sisters. Literally, you are related. You are in the same race of humans. We are all family. You guys do not get it. I'm not coming down there to fix that. Like, it's on you guys. Like, you guys can live and die, like as long as you want. Like, if you can't share a cookie with your sister or your brother or your cousin, you guys are going to continue to war and fight and die of famine and cancer and all types of garbage that you guys create collectively in your own sphere of misery. And you think that your higher self would come down and do something about it, but they're not going to, because it's totally ridiculous when you look through their eyes. Like, just take a look at it. Like, that little scenario I just depicted for you now, like, that's exactly how it is. Like, they're not going to come down and do anything because it's on us. It's literally on every person's back. It's mostly inner child processing. Your inner child will be the most affected by growing into their own whole selves and independence. Sometimes it can come across and you can process it as abandonment. Like, it really isn't. It's just like you not understanding why your parents dropped you off at daycare and didn't come back. And you never thought that the day would end, but of course the day is going to end. Like your incarnation, you'll eventually go back up, but it just seems like the longest day ever, and you're continuing to get through what you have to get through to live and work in your systematic routine that can seem like Groundhog's Day each and every morning you open your eyes. I remember I called in one time. I called in one of the Ascended Masters from Venus, Sanat Kumara, and this was one of the first times my inner child was actually vocal, like on his own, like as an individual expression. I called him in, and I was just like talking to him. I was just lying in bed before I was going to sleep one night. I was lying in bed, and my inner child's like, yo, man, like, ask him, like, why you leave me down here? Like, why did you do this to me? Like, why did you go and not, like, come back? Like, and it's basically like the type of emotion that you have to get through and understand that it isn't them. It's just a test. It's just a lifelong illusion based off of your own emotional experience, your own capacity to integrate and evolve your own spiritual understanding in your own development. And the other reason why they can't intervene is because of the free will of the universe. They cannot intervene if they are not asked. So if the collective does not ask their higher selves to come in and take over the vibration of separation, hate, war, animosity, and get into their heart of abundance, love, self-appreciation, self-love, harmony, unity, world peace, then they literally can't do anything. Their hands are tied. And as ridiculous as it is, if you guys if people don't even ask for intervention on a collective level, they can't organize and get together and do a meditation every day, in synchronization to swirl energy around nodes on the planet to actually flip the scenario, because that's totally possible. That's what is used against us by the people who have set themselves up over the entire masses of the collective. Then they can't do anything. They literally cannot do anything, and they wouldn't do anything. Why would you do something if your child is choosing to suffer and they will not call you? And it can seem like your higher self has rules that they care about more than they care about the people who they are supposed to be taking care of, more than they care about you, which is not 100% true. But they care about themselves and you care about yourself. So if you care about yourself, you align to their frequency and you move more into your own mastery of self with your own energetic development and spiritual involvement within your own life and within your own utilization of your own energy field and the light that you have within becoming an actual change in the world. They do not hold anything against anybody. They do not judge anybody for their life decisions. What they do is hold the level of intensity and high achievement. So when you get there, you have no choice but to meet it. You have to go through your own sequence, your own processing, your own spinning of your own mental gears to get yourself in alignment to where they're at. So the key is understanding how to process a loop, how to process yourself out of a loop, and how to understand what a loop is. It really is a line of thought that is of error and that isn't in the intention of developing towards a higher outcome for your own inner energy field. It's possible to get yourself out of a loop as you are processing through it. So as you process through it, you understand that they're processing through it, and that's the key. Being in a loop and understanding you're in a loop. It's like being in a holographic matrix and understanding you're in a holographic matrix while you're in a holographic matrix. So you kind of go deeply within yourself. So it's like being in a human body as a human body while inside a human body, which is literally what you are. You're a human vessel, a physical vessel with an energy body inside your physical vessel. So when you get there, things get a lot easier. As you speak to your higher self, you get easier downloads, easier insights, and you begin to think how they think and see how they see. And that's critical, because once you get there, it's you start to blast off and you start to be able to zoom out and view the consciousness as a whole. You get a lot more intuitive, and you get a lot more sharp, just in your intellect as well. So not to say that third dimension is an illusion. When you hear everything is an illusion, nothing's real, things are real to a certain degree. Of course, if you hit the gas in a truck and you go towards a tree, you're going to crash the truck. It depends what level of degree of reality that you're talking about. For me, illusion really comes down to the context of the energy of what we're speaking of. Say you may be talking about emotion. Well, it depends what that emotion is about, why that person is feeling an emotion and what that emotion means to that person. And is that person projecting an emotion, or is that person just feeling that emotion totally out of reaction, and that person has no idea why they're feeling it? Like, it really depends, like, what level of reality. Of course, like, money's real, debt's real. If you don't pay your taxes, they'll throw you in prison, even though they generated all those, dollar amounts on a computer screen out of nothing. Still, it literally comes down to you being able to process and understand the level of, energetic slavery, if you want to call it that, or understand the level of emotional illusion that others are suffering through. A lot of it's needless. And for me, it depends. Like, a lot of people's emotions are illusions to me. So, not make me sound like some type of sociopath, but on a level that I have to be at, like, you have to draw a line. And same for you. You might want to move forward in your ascension. You're going to have to cut a lot of cords. You're going to have to cut a lot of people off in your own emotional field. Not that you don't love them, but, you understand where they're at, whether or not they know what type of emotions that they're projecting based off of their reality, and that's where it ends. And where you continue to move forward really depends on your own capacity to see yourself in your own level of frequency as you continue to walk forward step by step. So, to see through the illusion, a lot of it just comes down to attention. I did a video a couple of videos ago based off of ways you can fully activate your vessel. In that video, go into like how attention is so critical and how the poise that you hold yourself within your own inner space, and how you continue to expand your space, like spherically, you get to see what emotion is getting projected from where and why. You see where you may be courted. You see how you can interact with your higher self. You understand and perceive where you might need to look at your own emotional field where a blind spot might be. And a lot of it is just you becoming more self-aware, embodying more of your higher self in the physical. That's where most of it is based off of total integrity. Because the integrity is why nobody will come down from the heavens and appear blatantly in front of everybody to say, hey, like, guys, like, it's all a test. Like, we'll be back when you guys get your shit together. Nobody's going to come down and appear like that, because if everybody knew, then you wouldn't know that it's a test. It's like you are in a test within a test within a test. Like, once you know that you're in a test, congratulations, you move to the next level of the test. And then once you know that, it's like, congratulations, you move to the next level. It's like, now what's he going to do? Now what are they going to do? They know this. And if he acts like this, that means his integrity, like, barometer isn't going to keep him on that same level of that graduation to the frequency he was able to hit last week. And it really comes down to the individual and the purpose that you set for yourself and your own inner resolve. That's why I like to call your own inner eternal truth the blog tagline before every single video, because that's it. It always comes down to your ability to see for yourself and perceive and make decisions on how you want to view and feel within your own inner reality for yourself. So, it was a quick video. That's just some of the things that, were on my mind, and some of the things I feel like the collective is actually currently processing at this moment in time. And most of it is just for the eventual graduation of all souls that will eventually happen. Whether or not you're waiting for some type of event to happen, or you're waiting for something to, like, force you to make a decision, like, it's best off you kind of just decide to move in that direction first, proactively for yourself, because that's the only way that things will eventually get done. When things happen outside of you, you know, then it's kind of like trial by fire. And that, you know, even though the universe loves to do that, you know, you kind of want to keep the cards in your hand and in your favor. So peace and love. If you guys would like a session, I always do sessions, you know. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.